I was out here hunting yesterday with our youngest daughter, May May, and we had an encounter with a deer, and I want to tell you all about it. We were sitting up in this stand up there together. We hadn't been here maybe 10-15 minutes, and I see a buck walking right along that tree line over there. And I start to get ready to take a shot, and I'm kind of nudging her and whispering and pointing, and about the time he gets where I want him to go to get a good shot on him, I lose him in all this super thick stuff over here. And all I can go by is what I hear. Every single thing that we see that moves, our mind tells us that it's a deer. We've come out here with the sole purpose of encountering a deer. So over the next 2 hours or so, I see a little flicker of a leaf and I think it's a deer. She sees a little flash of a squirrel running in between some limbs. She thinks it's a deer. And we both start to second guess each other's assessment. Oh, I don't think that was. Oh, I don't think that was. Now we do that so long that eventually all of the noise coming from that area, we just tune it all out because we've exhausted ourselves with the constant rise and fall of expectations until that crunch of leaves that we've been hearing on and off starts to gradually get louder and closer. And right about there, about 25 yards out, that buck comes out where we can see him. There's no more question about what a deer looks like. There's no more question about what a deer sounds like because we're looking at him. We've been looking at antler-shaped tree limbs for the last 2 hours. But now that we're looking at real antlers on top of a real deer, they don't look anything like these tree limbs, these dead brown tree limbs that we've been looking at, thinking that they might be sitting on top of a buck's head. Now looking at an actual deer, looking at his actual form, his actual coat, there's no question. As I'm sitting there watching this deer walk slowly in our direction, all those other sounds go away. All those other flashes of movement go away. Now, did they stop? No, we just quit focusing on them because we saw the actual deer. We were having an encounter with the deer is what we came there for. So all the counterfeits no longer had any bearing with us. And his presence was unmistakable to both of us. Neither one of us doubted the other's eyesight. Neither one of us doubted what the other was watching. We were both watching this deer move in front of us. Now, sparing the details, I was not able to close the deal. I was not able to get a clear shot and take this deer home with us this time. So I'm back out here today again, giving it another shot. But as I've been sitting up in my tree, thinking through the events of yesterday, I can't help but see the comparison between what happened with that deer and what's been happening with me this last year as it pertains to watching God move in my life. I don't know if anybody can identify with this, but I'm constantly desiring to have an encounter with him. In the same way that we left our house yesterday hoping to have an encounter with a deer, whether you know it or not, whether you admit it or not, whether you acknowledge it or not, we all get up every day hoping to have an encounter with God. I don't care what you believe. I don't care if you believe in God at all. You're desiring to have an encounter with him every day. Now, what you call God or what you acknowledge that looks like in your own life really doesn't matter, because I believe we were all created to worship. And if you're not worshiping him, you're worshiping something. As I go through my day trying so hard to encounter him, so often I find myself falling for counterfeits. I find myself looking for him in the circumstances around me, looking for him in the people around me, looking for him in the things that are going on in my life. And I can drive myself completely insane with all the things I'm trying to attribute to his movement. But the older I get, what I have found is that when he moves, when it's actually him, he's completely unmistakable. When he lets himself be seen and I watch his presence become clear in my life, I see the crown on his head and I think how foolish, how silly of me to have thought these other things were him, to have mistaken his movement for all these counterfeits in my life. So as I go home with this, I'm challenging myself and I'm challenging you to approach the next year still desiring to have an encounter with him, but allowing him to show himself for who he really is. I'm challenging myself to stop looking in every little movement and every little thing that happens around me and just wait until he makes his presence known. I don't want to waste any more time scrutinizing over the movement of counterfeits. I want to have an encounter with him in his time, on his terms. Hope you all have a Merry Christmas.